First, answer the first question. Like, what age did you start having sex?
And our African parents usually don't have the conversation with us because they don't want us to do it at all. So they try to instill fear in it.
Did you taste it?
Yes or no?
No.
Have you seen it?
Have you tasted it? I've seen it. Like
You
I have visualized it because of the content.
Hello guys, welcome back to a new episode of the African Millennials.
Hey!
So are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so let's start.
I'm gonna read. Okay.
You can do it.
Yes, I can. And fuck you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Dear AMs, I am only 14 and I am horny all the time. What the hell? I secretly watch a lot of porn, but my parents think I am a saint. They never had the talk with me. The whole thing is driving me crazy because all I think about is sex. My question is, what age did you start having sex, and when is safe to start having sex? African anonymous.
Yeah, probably.
I think she needs to
That was a
that
lot.
person needs
What is your she? That could be a he.
Oh my god, no.
That could be a he. Right.
I would say 14 is a time where you start to.
Can we first answer the first question? Like, what age did you start having sex?
Okay, I was a late bloomer. I had sex when I was 17.
I was 17 as well.
Yeah, so.
18.
I would say 18. I don't really remember, but 18.
Who doesn't remember when they lost their virginity?
I'm a
I
virgin.
don't keep track on.
Say it loud, say it proud,
I'm a
Jojo.
virgin.
You know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. I do not believe Jojo is a virgin.
Why?
We had a discussion about what age did you start having sex, and yeah, I'm a virgin.
Do you want to say why?
Because I'm just so fine, or what?
Exactly.
Okay, not only is she fine because of I'm sorry, I follow you on Instagram and the content, the kind of like the stuff you put out there.
What do I put out there?
The stuff you put out there is
so
not. A virgin wouldn't do that. Like you know.
What?
What
year do you
Milan,
live in?
don't play with me
Do
today.
you follow her on Instagram?
I do follow her on
So, but
Instagram.
the content you put out there, it
What-
doesn't speak. It doesn't speak much
no,
about.
because I'm gonna walk over to you,
Over there.
and I'm gonna give you a hot one.
Jojo's been lying to her parents this whole time. She's not a virgin. I don't think anybody who scrolls on her page would think she's a virgin. A virgin doesn't portray herself the way she does on her Instagram. I mean, but I can't believe you're
It's
a
not
virgin.
because she posts sexy pictures or she's very,
So sassy. Why are you so sassy on IG?
I'm just saying, if she posts sexy pictures, it doesn't mean that she's not a virgin. It doesn't mean nothing.
A virgin
What is
wouldn't.
a virgin?
What a virgin does? She stay home and read her Bible?
Exactly.
What a virgin does, like whatever a virgin.
There's just no penetration.
No, it's not a virgin.
That's all it is.
Sometimes a virgin acts very simple. She acts like. Hold up. She acts very, very decent. She doesn't post semi-nude pictures and then flaunts her body.
Okay.
Mojo?
Milan, you're not a virgin?
He said
You don't come up to me
He
like
said he
somebody.
don't remember.
You don't come up to
I
me
said
like
I
somebody
don't.
that had sex before.
Okay, I low-key do not remember because I don't keep track.
But you had sex before,
Wow, so
right?
you mean you have a lot of body counts then?
Wow.
If you don't keep track.
Guys,
Hold on, it's one question at a time. What are you saying?
You've had sex before, right?
Yeah.
You don't look like somebody that has sex before.
Why would you say that?
wow.
You just look so like boring. Like
content.
you don't look like
Oh, you think I'm
experienced.
boring? Oh, really? Try me. I'm
So
sorry.
then what
No, I'm not.
But how are you gonna?
Zenobia, yo, like, just come, just try it. Like already, I've been wanting for so long. Just you know.
How you gonna tell JoJo she's not a virgin? If I'm saying that you look like you never had sex.
You guys are gonna sit here and then act like, okay, you guys are accepting the fact that are you guys saying she's a virgin?
Yes.
And you guys are expecting.
She said she's a virgin. She's a virgin.
You know the people that she's been with? You've been inside her cooch?
You don't know anyone.
Don't answer that question.
Anyways, guys, when do you think is a good time to start having sex?
I mean, what
is your advice for African
I
Anonymous?
think based upon my experience, like I said, I started
last year, right?
You started at the same age, right?
No, yeah, 14.
14.
Yeah, and she was 21.
Oh, you were raped.
Well, yeah, I would.
Nah, not necessarily. I won't say that.
Let's not use that word
No, I won't say. Yeah.
Well, what's statutory? Statutory.
I was taken advantage of by a cougar.
No, because I was consenting.
Yeah.
You were too young to have a sex.
That's what I'm saying.
You were too young to have a sex.
Did you know my sex drive back then?
No, legally.
The right time to start sex, to start having sex, I think for men is, ideally is 15. I mean, I started when I was 14, but for females, I think abstinence is key. I think, I'm all about protecting, the female body, because I think if I have a daughter, I will urge her to wait until marriage.
You're literally like 14 or 22, like you literally statutory rape. Like it doesn't matter if it was forced or not. There's literally a law.
How do you feel about
because
that?
the age of consent is 16.
Okay.
Because I think that when you're 14, I think you're a teenager.
Hold on, what are you arguing? I'm talking about the law. That's a fact. You can't even argue.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
that lady. That woman should be in jail.
Yeah.
For real.
She should be in jail.
For real though.
I think for me, I think at 14, I just started to become more inquisitive about sex and more about, my body. And I felt like even when I was even 10, I was like watching porn when I was 10. So I think that you saying that, you cannot, speak on my behalf. I started watching porn when I was 10. I think I had a pretty strong sex drive, I guess. I was really inquisitive about sex.
Regis, you were watching porn when you were 10?
Yeah.
And what were you watching on, like, magazines, TV, like what?
No, I
think
it was
access
fun.
to that. Like, it wasn't your dad.
You can't. He was in 5th grade.
You can't go in the store and buy a porn magazine. You know that. So where you got it?
No. Back then when I was 10, I was back in Africa. So
it was magazine.
No, I'm not saying that. But I think I was still in, the video. Some cassettes of my. That's true though. Yeah. The Mapuka stuff I was watching.
As a porn.
It's not really porn.
Are you trying to? So you got access of the videos, your parents' videos, like their cassettes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was exposed. You were exposed
to it early, but that's like when they're 14, you start to like when you're around 13, especially. Like, I don't know if this is a woman or a man.
When you hit puberty, you start getting sensations.
You start touching yourself. I'm like, oh snap, boy, that felt good. So
but I mean, like, there's 5 and 6 year olds that be touching themselves.
I don't know about 5 and 6, but with me, 14 was like right before high school. I know like in 7th grade, 8th grade was when I started like, masturbating or whatever. I started thinking like, I started to be curious about it. Like, I just knew I couldn't get sex, but like I was thinking about it. You just didn't know how to go about getting it.
I'm sorry. Regis 14 is too young. Like
to have sex?
I think 18.
Well, that's 8th grade.
To be masturbating, to be honest.
At 14?
14? Yeah, it's like, it's kind of young.
You hit puberty at 13.
I think for men, it's not young, but for females, I think that it's kind of young.
With the
big.
No, I think it's across the board, dude. No.
I think a 14-year-old having sex is too early. I don't think they're mentally prepared for that. Even physically, I don't even think physically they're prepared for that.
But we have some 14-year-olds that are really matured and that have like the body of an 18-year-old.
That is true because there are young girls that get their period at 9 and then they start like having sex. When she was 9 years old.
It's not about having the sex too, but I'm talking about like 14. Like you're about to be a freshman in high school. Freshman in high school are having sex more than like. slowly by slowly, people start to have sex.
I just feel like when you're having sex, there are so many consequences, so many responsibilities that you need to think about. And at 14,
it's not what
your
body's not ready for that.
You're just not there.
What do you mean it's not there? The fact that you are not there doesn't mean someone is there.
No, it's not. Don't try to do that. It's not about that.
Maybe she wasn't there when she was 14, but maybe I was there when I was 14. So
but okay, let's say you had sex at 14.
You're still immature, Milan. You're still immature today.
I'm not immature. Don't tell me I'm immature.
How can you say at 14 you were ready?
Do not tell me I'm immature. Stop. You stop.
Okay, my thing is 14, like she said, to go off her point. At 14, having sex is a lot of responsibility that I don't think a 14-year-old can understand. Yeah. It comes with kids. It comes with diseases.
But we have sex at 5th grade.
This person said that her parents never had to talk about her, or his parents never had to talk about them about sex. And I feel like that's where we should probably start having a conversation before having safe sex. Yeah. So that's why I think 18 is more of a...
18?
I'm going to tell you why.
That's
because at 18 you're an adult. And if you do have a kid, you could, take care of that kid.
Yeah.
Yes, you can, because you can get a job. You could start doing more
so than you can at 14.
More so than 14, but more so at 14 or 16.
But this person is in Africa. In Africa, you don't have to be 18 to have
in Africa. He's in Africa. Or she's in
Africa. It's African.
Okay. We're African, but...
And then parents haven't had to talk with them, and that's very common. Our African parents usually don't have the conversation with us because they don't want us to do it at all. So they try to instill fear in it.
The only thing they tell you is don't do it. And then when you don't do it, and then they're asking you when you're 25, where's your husband? Where's your boyfriend? How am I going to have a boyfriend?
And the way they tell you about it is to, like my mom, she was telling me to fear, right? She was like, make sure you don't have sex, don't bring a kid in my house because you're going to be in the curb. I'm not going to keep you in my house. Wow. So as an African girl or even boy, like if you have sex and there's a fear that you're trying to being pregnant, you already have that mindset like, oh my God, I'm going to be a single parent. I'm going to be by myself. My parents are not going to support me because they don't approve of me having sex at a young age.
And that's what they instill on us.
Like, exactly.
But it's still talking to you, but it's the way they say it. Maybe they might not put you down and then break it down for you. But that's how Africans are. The African parents are taught. So they will tell you, don't have sex. I don't want any babies. I don't want any girl by my house. You know what I'm saying? So it's still the talk.
But they don't educate you. But
it's still education.
I mean, listen, 18 is probably the best time to embark on your sexual journey. I think before that, get into your masturbation, learn your body, learn what's going on, and then after 18, when you're old enough to, get your own birth control, you feel more comfortable going and getting, your vaginal condoms or whatever the case may be. When you're just a little bit more mature and ready for the physical, emotional, and mental consequences of sex. Sex is a really huge thing, guys, and it's not for kids. It's for adults.
African parents, I feel like African parents a lot of times don't really talk about sex. Like they won't. The most they'll say about it is, it's bad, don't do it, don't do it. They don't really educate people, or they don't educate their kids about it. Like they don't tell you, don't do it because for these reasons. Don't do it because maybe you're not mentally, stable enough to do something like that. Because at the end of the day, sleeping with someone, it's a conscious decision. You have to have, it has to make sense.
You want them to educate you.
I will say my mom, because she's a nurse too, she would show me pictures of diseases and stuff and
prevention.
Yeah, this is what you're gonna get. If this is what you're going to get if you have unprotected sex. There's all types of diseases. That was education. Some parents don't do that. They just, straight try to scare you oh, don't do it, don't do it. They don't tell you, hey, don't do it because of these reasons.
That's why they take these kids to school. That's why they tell you.
But you have to learn that.
But at the same time, the schools tell you, in primary, I went to school back home. They start during primary. They would tell you. So if sometimes they might not say the way you want. They might not sit you down and then break it down.
But you know what's the problem? The problem is that we just want to talk about, your first time having sex. How about having a relationship? I think it's if you have that foundation of okay, have a girlfriend, have a connection with somebody before having sex. Because we're just going to talk about sex. Okay, you can have sex. Sex only lasts about a few minutes. And then some people, we are at 14. What are you really learning? I believe that before teaching sex, you should teach the value of relationship. Because whatever you're going to teach that kid could transform him into a good gentleman or a fuck boy. So before morphing him into, something else, I think you should talk about being in a relationship before having sex. I think that's most important. Mm-hmm. I think for a 14-year-old, if you're gonna give you an advice, that advice will form you and morph into somebody later in your adult life.
Right.
So I don't think we should promote you just having sex. Try to,
it should be deeper.
It should be deeper than that. It should not just be sex.
I agree. It's definitely harder for women as well because scientifically we give off this a chemical that bonds us to the man.
Right.
And who you choose to have sex with is such a huge, important thing. and a lot of the times, the dude or the person that you're messing with under the age of 18, you're not going to be with
them. That's what I'm
18.
saying.
You know what? I could agree with that to an extent because I do feel like when this writer is 14, if they choose to have sex now, I think at that age you're more easily not taking advantage, but you're more easily influenced. And a lot of times, though, when they have sex at that young age, if this 14-year-old has sex with a 16-year-old who's more experienced, and that 16-year-old is already kind of having sex and they move on, that can mentally really change somebody at that age. Yes.
I mean, I do think so.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
How does it mentally change?
That usually happens
Because you weren't ready. Because this 14-year-old in their head, they lost their virginity. If it's a girl, they lost their virginity to this boy. Then this boy moves on. She's gonna be insecure, think something is wrong with her. Her heart's gonna be broken. She could go through a depression. You don't know. They're too young to handle all these type of things.
In high school, people have sex as a trend. I lost my virginity. It's people are doing more sex for that.
It's interesting. I mean, you got the 14-year-old conquerors, and you got the late bloomer 40-year-old virgins. I think that when you want to accept the responsibilities and you understand, it's either you're gonna have sex when you feel like you first fell in love, which for most people they get their first girlfriend or boyfriend around 14 to 16. But if you don't have it then, open up or dive in when you 18 or 20. I don't know, figure it out.
Yeah.
A lot of people that had sex, now it is a little bit different. But when I was growing up, a lot of people lost their virginity. Usually was their first relationship. And because when you had those outside influences, let's say you was 14 or 16, you had a boyfriend or girlfriend, it's still, I wouldn't say 16, but when you're in middle school, that 12 to 15 range, the extent is really kissing. Y'all in relationship and y'all, the height of it is probably kissing, maybe you touch their butt, whatever. You don't know nothing until you talk to somebody a little bit older. Right. And then for dudes, it's all right, when you know that high schooler that you take you under your wing, or they you had sex with her yet? Oh, you ain't a man till you did this, or you ain't do this yet. Or for girls, that's still a trend now to say you're not a woman yet until that stuff happens. There was still that type of terminology. So that was the next step. When you had sex was when you became a woman. They still kind of reference that to women. You become a woman after you lose your virginity.
I think that is a little older, a couple of eras ago. Because I don't think the kids these days.
For me, I think the most important thing is abstinence. Come on, abstinence is key.
But you lost your virginity at 14. How you gonna say abstinence is key? You lost your virginity at 14.
Ideally, child. Let me speak. I think ideally, that 14 is too young to talk about having sex. I think we can educate.
You talking about talk about it or do it?
No, I mean, we have to talk about it, even do it. I said ideally. Don't take myself as an example because my sex drive, it was to the roof. So I won't
So if your sex drive was to the roof at 14, 25, you burned out?
But then also, let me explain. I do think that, especially for females, because I love females. I feel without females, we men are nothing at the end of the day, right? So I do feel for females, I think 14, you can teach, your girl to all the elements that are attached to sexuality. You can say that or talk to her saying that when you when you have sex there is such and such that is occurring. But at the end of the day, I think that you should, because my daughter, I would love to tell her and teach her abstinence, because I do feel I want her to preserve her body for her husband at the end of the day.
Wait. So I have a question. So you're telling girls
to close their legs.
Yes.
But you
so
open yours at 14.
who you gonna be having sex with
If they're closing their legs.
if they're closing their legs?
No, I'm 14 though. I'm 14.
Okay, you were 14. And you had sex with someone
You
who
could
was
tell that shit
21.
wasn't shit. He got the Ballers Life tattoo on his arm. Everybody knew him up.
You're not even looking at her in a way. Like, you're not
He went to jail when he got
But
older.
back to the question. Back to the question. So who would you have sex? Who are you gonna be having sex
Yeah, who
with?
the girls are having sex? I mean, the guys are having sex with if the
Yeah.
girls are closing their legs at 14.
Most times
That's
it's
why we
like
have
older
older
girls.
women.
Older
girls.
Older
Thank you. Older
guys,
girls
older
more
guys
mature.
usually having sex with younger
So you
women.
should have
younger
closed
guys
your
have
legs.
That's what we're just saying. Like,
Nah,
that's
look.
statutory rape.
I think females should do like this, and males should do like this because
To
I think
whom?
You're mad.
If females doing like this.
You're mad.
I'm not mad. I think
Shabazz,
that's
the
my
person that you
perspective.
lost your
I'll
virginity
ask
to,
you.
were they
Close their
older than
legs.
you or younger than you?
Oh, he's the same age.
So what about you, Milan?
Oh, she was older than me.
So men usually lose their virginity to women that were older
I don't
than
know
them.
say
about.
that.
I didn't know. I don't know
I
about
didn't. I said the other
everybody.
way around.
What you mean the
I
other
think
way
it's the other way
around?
around. I
It's
think
the
women
other way
does it.
around.
Most, cause men like girls is like this. Like the older you get in high school, you start to realize like this. Like, it's like I said, it's a little bit different now. But as you start to get older, like around junior, senior year, a lot of girls are gonna make one or two decisions. They're gonna be like, well, I either made it this far by being a virgin. I'm just gonna not.
Can you
I'm
just
not
say,
gen- I'm not
can you
trying to
say
gen-
ages though? Because not everyone has the same schooling
Yeah, has the same
system.
school. Okay, around like
How old are
17,
you in
around like
junior?
17, 18, women like, a young woman is gonna be, at that point, if they haven't had sex yet, they're either gonna be like, I'm gonna go ahead and forward this before, like or they're like probably gonna hold on and it might happen later. But dudes, like, when a girl is younger with dudes, like the 17, 18-year-old boys are trying to get the 17, 18-year-old girls who at that point, they starting to figure out a little bit more. At 18, they about to go to college, like, maybe I don't want to mess with this dude no more. They're going to go for the younger girls who are still, like, they just...
No.
They're trying to associate a lot of...
Disgusting thing I've ever heard.
I think to be doing it with older women, I think it's fun. I've experienced it and I loved it. So,
Welcome,
Wow, that's African. Always late.
Always
Typical African man.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome, Tunde.
Thank you. Sorry for my lateness.
No, you're not sorry.
You're right.
Don't
I'm
fit.
not. I have things
I'm
to
gonna
do.
briefly win because I was feeling
Yeah.
jumped.
So what were we talking
I was
about?
trying, they was talking about, so this dude and
there's
girl,
this
they're 14
guy-
and touching themselves.
Well, we don't.
They keep watching porn, they keep
There's
watching porn
the
and
African
touching
person
themselves.
Okay,
that
hold on.
is. There's the African person that is thinking about sex crazy, horny all the time, but they're 14 years old and they never had to talk with their parents. Now they want to know when is safe to have sex and what age you had sex.
Okay. Wow.
So we all say our
all
age.
answered already.
Okay. Well,
So
for
what's
sex,
your age?
sex is sex,
No, what age you had sex? That's the first
15.
question. 15.
15 when I lost
So
my
you
virginity.
can
14,
relate.
15.
But I lost my virginity to
17.
someone that was older than me. So
Another.
Another rape.
How old were they?
she was 2 years older. She was 17.
Oh,
that's
okay,
not bad.
but not 21.
I mean,
Did you say 22?
but the second person that I had sex with after that was like 20, 21.
And you were still
didn't-
15?
I was 16.
You were 16, okay.
Yeah, she didn't know I was 16.
Was it here in America or
Yeah,
back
it
home?
was here.
So you lied.
I didn't lie to her.
You just never
I
said.
admitted it.
I just never told her.
Okay, so now we're trying to figure what age is
She
safe
knows now, obviously.
to have sex.
Okay.
So we all say, I'm thinking 18.
I
Like,
think 17,
sex
18
is an
is
adult
safe.
activity.
I think
You should
it's-
not
I
be
think
having sex if you're not an adult. That's how I
it's
see
about
it.
maturity too, right? Like what age are you going through sex ed? I went through sex ed when I was 15.
So you thought you were mature at
I went to
15?
sex ed when I
I
was in
didn't
middle
say
school.
that. I didn't
I
know.
had
I didn't know how
sex
to
ed
put
when
on
I
a
was
condom
16.
before 15.
They
So-
showed us how to put a condom in like 7th grade.
Sure, but
Was
I
it
didn't.
like separate classes?
Sure,
like
but,
girls
but,
and
but
guys?
watching a
yeah.
video and actually
Yeah.
doing
No, we
that's a
had
completely
like,
different thing.
no, they had a this shit called the Penn State penis. And
we
like,
didn't have that.
Yeah, we
See,
got
we didn't have that. That's some Jersey shit.
it's in Pennsylvania. Like when we was in 5th grade, we had sex ed. That's when we learned about like the organs, like the reproductive system, what like certain things was. Then when you got to middle school, we actually had sex education class.
No.
This
This is what Americans are more advanced in sex than Africans.
The
Like,
first one,
we
the
didn't
first
have
one was
that.
co-ed, but then in middle school is when they separate. That's when we dead-ass
Correct.
learned how to put on a condom.
Seventh
Why
grade.
do you think they
There was
separate
a
the
model.
guys
There
and the
was
guys?
because that's when you had to ask questions like our sex ed. We was asking like serious questions because at middle school, some people were starting to have sex.
And you
like
don't want to be intimidated by being in
hold
front
on,
of
middle
the
school.
opposite
Okay,
sex.
let me put that age reference. So middle school was for when I was in middle school was 6th to 8th grade. So that
Did you
was
say ages
12,
though?
13, 14.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
12,
yeah,
13,
which-
14 might be 15 because some people got left back. So, yeah, because, well,
Or 11.
so we was learning about that and like some people was I know a girl that was saying like she was sexually active. She was like 6th grade. She was like, I'm sexually active.
Maybe that's the problem because it's teaching sex so young. That probably triggers something. Because in Africa, I can tell they're not having sex at 10 years old.
They do having sex
Yes, they do, friends.
They do.
Yes.
Just saying, telling you, don't mean they ain't having sex.
Nah, because I feel like that's too young for a 10-year-old to know how to put a condom on. Like in Africa, I think they have other issues than to worry about the poom poom. Like I don't see them fucking.
My advice for anyone that is under the age of 16 is to invest in sexual education, whether it's through school or it's uncles, aunties, someone that has a lot more experience than you. You know what I'm saying? If you have to wild out, freestyle on some Pornhub, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your frustrations out. Don't be bottling all that stuff inside.
It's like a model for them to put a condom on the mouth.
We was like 12 or 13 at that point.
Did you guys go to school in Africa?
I went to school.
I came here when I was 19.
I know what y'all talking. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Did you have any like sex class in Africa?
back home in South Africa, yes, we started with sex education. It may have been like at around 12 we started.
See?
And I mean,
Because that's when you learn. That's when your shit, you know, as a dude,
Your
that's
body
when
starts
your
shifting.
body
The
starts,
school
you
knows
start
that
getting
around this
random
age,
erections.
you start going through puberty. So the schools, like my middle school, it wasn't 5th grade, 6th grade, but like 8th grade and 9th grade, we were talking about sex. When I got to 10th grade, that's when they went into depth with like diseases and condoms and dental dam and all of that.
The thing is, even with the education, or whether you get the education or you don't get the education, you will still be curious. You will still have sex. So I don't even think education. Yes, you will.
Wait,
I don't
are
even
you
think.
saying that
Well,
sex
listen,
is acceptable at like a young age? Is that what you're saying?
Like when you're 14 years, it's okay. Some people are mature differently.
What?
But me being 14 years and you're 14 years is probably different. Because maybe when I was 14, I was probably matured than you.
To take care of the kids.
I don't want to take care of kids. No, I'm not saying it's not about kids. It's not an age thing.
It takes one time for you to get
And even whether you've been educated or not.
I don't want to say mature is a bad word.
Maturity.
Maturity
is not word.
So some 14-year-old are more mature than a 18-year-old. I've seen some cases where you're having conversation with a 14-year-old and you can tell he's more experienced, even though he's 14. And you're having a conversation with an 18-year-old and you can tell this guy is like,
Milan's mind. The thing about Milan is I don't know if he is pretending. I don't know if he's joking around. I don't know if it's like a real thing. I just don't understand if this is how a real human being operates and functions and thinks. Like, I just can't believe that some of the things he says are coming out of his mouth. Like, it's crazy.
Mature, hold on.
I'm not gonna
Go ahead.
So even with education, it doesn't really change anything. Look at example when parents, like African parents, they tell us do not have sex. They tell you with a strong voice, do not. But that'll make you more curious to go into have sex, and it happens. So I don't know.
Okay, but so your curiosity, I get what you're talking about, and that's why a lot of people who were like caged in when they were younger, like in high school, they get to college and they wild out. A lot of people they do what they got to do. But that word, let's get a different theme, and let's not talk about maturity. At 14, nobody was mature at 14, 15. You were not
your
mature.
body's never fully developed.
You're being. This is really a dangerous topic, and if you're consenting for 14-year-olds to be having sex, you're really sending out like a really dangerous, negative.
I'm not saying I'm not giving negative
even
advice.
If a 14-year-old
but I'm not
is
saying
mature.
all 14 years. I'm saying some 14-year-olds are very mature than an 18-year-old.
Milan, even if a 14-year-old is mature enough, in your words, a 14-year-old should not be risking themselves to have a baby. We have enough kids raising kids.
The other sex doesn't mean you're gonna have a baby automatically. Like we will all have babies by now. Like having a sex doesn't mean
that's not true.
But still, she's saying, what did you say? You said about
you talking about you could be 14 and you could be mature enough. In your words, even if that even made sense, right? I don't want to see 14-year-olds having kids. We have enough babies having babies. And if you have sex, whether or not you use a condom, you're on birth control, whatever, it's still a chance to get pregnant, though. And you think a 14-year-old is old enough to take care of a baby?
Because that's why I said matured 14-year-old.
There is no mature 14.
There are men that are 30, 40 years old that get a woman pregnant by accident. A condom could break. Anything could happen.
I mean, in this specific case, I mean, this person, because we don't know if it's he or she is horny. So what we do?
They need to speak to their parents.
Or seek a therapist or something.
No, they said that the person said that their parents aren't talking to them about it.
Well,
they need to go approach their parents.
Maybe
like,
their parents
I'm not gonna hold
maybe
you.
their parents
At
aren't
14,
even
watching porn ain't that big of a deal.
Some parents aren't even equipped enough to have that conversation with their kids.
That's true.
I think, listen, if girls were told to masturbate at an earlier age, there would be so many less problems. I think masturbation is a valid way to release yourself and stay safe. Guys, let me tell you something. Masturbation is very, very important. Girls, women, we don't get told this enough. We don't speak about it. No one ever told me. I don't know who told anyone. Masturbation is a real thing for women. Orgasming is a real thing for women. Ejaculation is a real thing for women. Explore yourself. Take the time. Take your sexuality back. I think it's really, really important that young girls learn their bodies before they put it in the hands of someone else. Stay,
grounded.
There's no risk of pregnancy. There's no risk of STDs. And I don't think it's said enough. Go ahead and masturbate.
Excuse me. The Bible says that's not necessarily true. Some people get pregnant without, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, without consent, without actually having.
You know what I'm saying?
What?
Jesus was born with
I'm just saying.
Come on. I think for that person, what they should do is definitely talk to somebody. Okay, if you have the chance to have a health class or a sex, professor. If there's such a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody could talk. No, I'm just saying, try to speak to them. You could try your parents, but I don't think even to this day I'm comfortable to talk to my mom about sex.
Yeah.
To this day, I could tell my mom, "Oh, mama just had sex with this guy," and it was I can't do that. So I don't think I would never, even if I'm 30 years old, married with 5 kids, I could never talk about that to my parents.
I don't think that the reason why I haven't had that conversation with my parents is not because I don't think that they could teach me or tell me anything. It's just I'm uncomfortable. I can't even think about sexual relations and then my parents in the same thought. It's disgusting to me.
I don't think it's just sex. I think, like I said earlier, it's also relationship. If parents also talk to kids about, really having that one connection with,
At least to start.
It's a start because you could turn your 14-year-old into a fuckboy because he's just out here busting out. If you want to bust it, just get a pocket pussy.
Let's be clear.
It's not that serious. I'm just saying. I feel like fuckboys are guys that just stick it in any holes and don't care, have no emotions whatsoever. Do this one today, they do Suzanne today, and then, Lisa tomorrow, and then, Josephine the next day. No. If you teach your kid to be in a relationship, to have a girlfriend.
How old when you lost your virginity?
I was 19.
So you consider yourself adult at 19?
Didn't you say 18?
No, I said 18 is a good age to lose your virginity, but I lost mine at 19.
That's a good. I mean, that's a
I
young
lost
adult.
mine at 19. I got the name, I got the phone number. Y'all want it? Honestly.
You lost your virginity at 19?
And I lost it here
You
when
lost
I
your
moved
virginity
here.
2 years ago?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Why is that so hard?
Because you know why he thinks this way? Because I'm so. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm sexually open to not sexual.
Well, she also lost it at 19, so she's gonna know more than somebody.
I talk about sex very openly, and a lot of people if you see my Instagram because of the way he to go back what you said about
She's a virgin.
to talk about what you said about JoJo. I also post provocative pictures of myself, but it does not mean that I have more experience or I lost my virginity younger. It just means that I'm more open. I'm not lying. Why would I lie?
I don't think she's lying.
To be honest, women have a really hard time because we have to deal with things like rumors, people talking shit about us.
I don't have to lie about that.
JoJo, you're a what?
She's a virgin.
I'm confused. Are you talking about your hair?
No.
This one is also virgin, and that's also virgin.
Everything is virgin.
Are you talking about
From head to
did you
toe.
use olive oil this morning, on your?
All of that. On
So
my
you're
skin,
talking
that's
about
why I'm
the olive
glowing.
oil.
That's why
But
I'm
why
glowing.
is it hard to believe it? Why is it hard to believe it?
If I
That's
die
a double
today
standard.
and come back, I'll never believe it.
Did you taste it? Did you taste it?
Yes or no?
That's what I'm
No.
saying. Have you
I haven't
seen it?
tasted it, but I've seen it.
You
I have visualized
You
it
have
because of the content. Because of the content.
So you have visualized. Wait, hold on. What you have seen?
People about having sex with her in their dreams. Like,
You
no, not me.
Don't talk, man.
Stop talking.
But she's not.
Jesus.
Like, don't get me wrong, Julia's a beautiful girl. I mean, I look at her pictures too, and you know, I could appreciate a beautiful woman as well. However, for him to say that he has visualized her vagina, in that moment, I'm trying to see the guy that I thought that we had something, visualize another woman on the same show as I am. Vagina it's like offensive, it's disrespectful for you to say in front of me. It's like you have no respect for me. Like you could at least wait for me to leave or something. Like you're gonna say in front of my face. And on top of this, it's like you're looking at her pictures. Like I feel like I don't know. I was just shocked. I couldn't believe he said that. Are you serious, Aina?
Chill.
No, I'm not chilling.
No,
You're dreaming about her vagina.
I'm not dreaming about her, but I'm saying the
You
thing
just say you were visualizing and dreaming about a cat.
Does she tell her to stop posting what she's posting?
So stop looking then. And she's not posting it for you. And whatever she's posting doesn't mean that she's not a virgin.
I don't think she's a virgin.
Okay.
Simple.
You know what time it is?
You know, it's the vibe. It's the vibe you get from from talking to a girl, or maybe just by scrolling a page, you can tell, oh, she's a virgin. You can it will just shock you, like you will know. Like with JoJo, even the way she looks at you, it's like she's ready to do something to you. Like it's crazy, yo. JoJo.
You're supposed to be faithful to me and me only. Like these girls just got here. Like what is hurry? Like no offense to the girls, they are beautiful, but it's like you and I have a history. So for you to jump and forgive me, and just, it's like, see, this is what men are dirty and they are dogs, and I'm so glad, I am by myself because I can't do this.
She's the kind of people they preach against. Like, you cannot, it's like you're in churches,
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Because the body's so voluptuous, you think that she's...
Just say you're mad, you can't get this.
Thank you. I want to hear Francis make some out the way first.
I just want to make sure I'm recapping this correctly. I'm going to go back to my corner and not say nothing. You visualized her. You thought about it.
Yes.
And there's no way.
And now you're blaming me for all
So
of your
now,
But you can't tell me you're a virgin, though.
it's Bridget,
Joe, we will talk. But
you have,
JoJo,
this season...
They impress here.
This season, Milan, I cannot imagine the stuff that you're saying. No, you're thinking about another woman's vagina. And she's right here.
There is a lot happening right now.
There's a lot that you just said right now, so can we break it down? You just said literally that you have visualized her pussy. That's what you're telling me. You just said visualize, you have
But why are you attacking me though? Why don't you blame her?
Why would I blame her?
I don't know what she's doing.
That's her vagina.
But she can't be doing all that on the gram. Come on.
So because she's posting sexy pictures on the gram, it's her fault for you to visualize about her? So far, Milan has hurt me to the core. I don't know where we stand. I don't know if I could get back with him. He wants Bridget. He always wanted Zenobia. He fantasized about JoJo's vaginas.
I feel like Milan doesn't believe I'm a virgin because he probably has dreams about me and him sleeping together, and it's really creepy.
I have something to say. Let me defend my friend. That's my best. That's my BFF friend. That's my BFF friend. Yo, JoJo, I'm not gonna lie because I think it was probably on Wednesday or something because you made a video about working out and stuff.
He saved
come on, man. I said it. Come on, man. That's too sexual. You're like, okay, we're gonna do this exercise.
Right.
So I
Virgin can work out.
First of
That's
all, there's a lot of women that follow me that want my physique. So I'm showing them what I do in the gym.
Thank you.
Just say you have a dirty mind. You think you want some of this, and you're not getting it. I'm not your type. I'm not your type. But here you are.
Yeah, the gym pictures, she was like that tight legging, and she was like, doing exercise. Okay, you did this. 1, 2. Come on, man. JoJo, you can't do stuff like that. You can. And then you're gonna be, I'm a virgin and stuff like that. Come on, bro. Come on, girl. But I love you, boo-boo, though, boy.
They were just talking about my Instagram, and they're like, oh, you're so sexy in your body and this, and I'm just like, relax. I know you want me, but I don't want you. I don't want you, Regis. I don't want you, Milan. I'm good.
Back to the topic at hand. what is a good age to become sexually active? I think it's really interesting that JoJo is a virgin. I'm not sure how old she is. What age would you say as a virgin is a good time to start having sex?
18.
You're a bold-faced liar.
18.
Shut up there.
First of all, if you're gonna have, my thing is, if
You also shut up there.
your father is a rich man. Anyways,
I mean, she definitely has virgin hair. I respect it, you know what I'm saying? She has a lot of attributes about her are very virgin. You know what I'm saying? So who am I to accuse her of?
It's tax season, it just restarted. So they fall off. Maybe she hasn't had sex in a year. I would probably say I'm a virgin too. You know, I don't really count it much past the fiscal year. They not on my taxes for dependents, so why am I counting it now? So I could figure out a way to whittle all the way down to zero my damn self. I should probably do that. I'm a virgin. That's a good. I'm a virgin too.
I feel like, first of all, if you go,
Your aim is just as trash as all of your tricks.
same thing as your, your hairline.
At least the crazy thing is if I take this off, my hair actually stays on my head.
But this is all my hair, honey.
If I repeat it, will not
This
be-
is all mine. This is all mine. So what's up?
From which
So
part
what's
of-
up
from which
now?
part of India?
So what's up right now?
From which part of
Anyways,
India?
this is some Congo. This is some Africa,
A
100%.
little hurt.
Anyways, I'm not hurt. It's just like,
Don't start with therapy.
can we get back to our friend right
Make
here?
sure this is coming
Can
from,
we get back
from
to our
the
friend right
topic
here?
and not from emotion. If he's hurt, listen, I would ask who hurt you, but he is right here.
Thank you so
And
much.
whatever you want to do, you want to direct it that way.
I appreciate you,
Understand
Shabazz.
that and speak with the
Anyways, my thing is, if you're gonna have sex, right? Okay, go ahead, do your thing. Make sure the person you're having sex with is somebody that could take care of you.
I agree.
Why?
No,
Yes, of
what
course.
do you
Especially
mean,
if you're a
why?
woman. If you're a woman, make sure this is somebody that's responsible financially.
care.
Yeah, take care
It's
of you.
about security.
Yes, it's about security. I think if you're gonna have sex, you need to have sex with somebody that's gonna take care of you financially. Because in case if something happens, let's say
Secure the bag.
secure
girl.
the bag. Always secure the bag. Let's say you end up being pregnant.
Interesting.
And then that's very interesting. You end up being pregnant, and he is probably not. Doesn't even have a high school diploma, no job. What happens now? You think love is gonna feed?
That's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So if you want to have sex, make sure the person you're having sex with is somebody in case something happens.
To get pregnant by a bum, I pray of course I pray for my family and wealth and all that stuff. Second thing is I pray is I hope I don't get pregnant by a bum. That's like a fear, because what is your life after this? Not meaning that the man is everything, but it kind of like shape your destiny with your child. It means that, especially if you're 14 having sex, make sure, I'm not saying go look for sugar daddies. I mean, if you do, more power to you. Like, send me the address.
Every time you have sex, you risk getting pregnant by that person,
That's
which
not
is
the
why
only
you
thing.
shouldn't be having sex
Yeah,
at
that's-
14. It's too early.
agree with
Whether you're being safe, whether you're using a condom, whether that person has money or not, you're too young to have
down,
a
young
child.
man.
But
There's
that
a lot
18
of the most common STDs.
In teens is gonorrhea, right?
It's not even chlamydia, it's HPV. And the reason why it's so
Yeah.
common is because men don't have symptoms.
Yep.
So you could be having a sex with a man. He may not have herpes, HIV, chlamydia, other things that are apparent, but he could be carrying an HPV virus. And men don't get tested like how men don't go to the OB. Wait, Milan, wait. Men don't go to OBGYN every year like women do. You don't have like a specific doctor for that. You don't do pap smear. Us women, we do that. So you could go 2-3 years without knowing that you have HPV. A man could go get HIV testing, herpes testing, whatever, but you're not gonna say, oh, today I'm gonna go to the doctor to go see if I test positive for HPV virus. And if you're educated enough, you know that virus can hide. You can be tested for it, and it may not come up positive.
Yeah.
Period. And that's something that a 14-year-old is not going to know.
So then we all shouldn't be having sex then.
That's my point.
Abstinence.
First of all, of course,
Everyone should be a virgin like me.
of
Like,
course that's
Shut
your
up.
point.
Shut up there.
The thing about HPV is HPV can be very serious because even though it may not give you immediate effects, later on in your life for women, it can cause cervical cancer and just other things too. HPV can also cause genital warts. And I think that a lot of the youth aren't fully educated on HPV. They hear about it, but they don't know exactly what it does.
But even with HPV, the thing about HPV is it can lay dormant in a woman as well. Like
Yes.
you might not see it on a pap smear for a while, and then boom, there it is.
You seem to know a lot about sex, and you have not.
I'm a nurse.
I know, I'm joking.
Okay, because I was ready for sis.
Listen. You undoing yourself because you said that. That was a great lesson, and I think sex education is a big part. People need to realize that you have to be grown about sex is about being more. That's why I don't like necessarily the term maturity.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to understand the risk, but you have to understand and be prepared. Like and that's the thing is the African way is to scare you. Yeah. I don't want everybody to then be like, oh, you're gonna get a disease, oh, you're gonna get pregnant, because sex is a part of life, and is a part that you. People should enjoy about it. Like everyone should have that right to enjoy it. They just have to enjoy it under a certain
responsibly
of responsibility.
At a responsible age.
And I agree. I think 18 is a pretty good age. Like it's very not likely. Like it's even myself, like I lost my virginity like 17, like a few months before I was 18. I'd be lying if I said I was saving myself. No, I just couldn't get no ass. Like I was trying. I was like, they was telling me about it. Like my first.
So you trapped somebody then?
No, I ain't trapped nobody. Like she was
the difference with you though. I lost my virginity at 17, and it's because I was scared. I was hearing stories that it's gonna hurt, you're gonna bleed, you're gonna do this, and I was scared. That's why I wasn't having sex. I wasn't like not touching myself and all this type of shit. But
that's what I'm saying. I wasn't like I'll be like most dudes. They say you ain't saving yourself, you can't get none, and that's how it was. I was hearing. I was like, damn, I'm trying to get some too, but I couldn't get it. And then like I became like this like heralded virgin, like, and then everyone just knew I was a virgin.
But I think the problem is like people make virginity such a bad thing. Like there's nothing wrong with that. No, some people do. They downgrade it for America. They downgrade it like
in society for a male to be a virgin. It's like I don't know.
I think it changed for me. When I was younger, I used to think, oh, virgins like. You always want a virgin. That's what you're taught. As a dude, you're like, you gotta find a virgin.
Yeah,
when you're younger, you're taught, you gotta find a girl that's never been with nobody. Then you get older, and you're like, I don't want to be with nobody, never been with nobody. I don't want to be with nobody. I gotta be like super patient. I gotta be gentle.
And then you're afraid that she's gonna be emotionally attached to you. That she's gonna stay with you.
She's been with. Now
you only worry about that when you're trying to fuck it. But if you're trying to wife her, then you start to think, oh, I want a virgin.
No, that's not what you're talking about.
That's not true. That's what I'm talking about. Because guys, they don't want to break their virginity with a virgin, but they want to wife a virgin.
No, I don't want to wife a virgin. I don't want to spend the rest of my life with somebody that doesn't know what she's doing.
That's how
but you can teach her.
I'm not, first of all, I am not trying to waste my time teaching anybody anything. Teach me something.
But there's a lot of virgins that know what stuff. Like they can do stuff, but they just have
knowing stuff because you've seen it and knowing stuff because you did it are completely different things.
I can't take you.
I can read.
Most guys want to fuck with a girl who is more experienced and then end up wifing a virgin. I would also want to wife a virgin, but I wouldn't want to have my sex experience with a virgin. Like that's whack.
On a written test, I can still crash that car, bro.
What?
It's not about.
So who gonna teach
but
my
driving
girl?
is way different. We're talking about sex.
So my first time you had sex, where you weren't.
First time I had sex was not my choice. So.
Wait, what do you mean?
got raped?
No, you did not.
That's what he said.
First time,
I lost somebody that was older than you.
I lost my virginity to somebody that was older than me. It was like a dare type of thing.
You was at aggressive school.
That's what I'm saying. They do it as a trend.
It wasn't at school. It wasn't at school. I was away on with friends on vacation, and that's when it happened. It was somebody's older cousin that was on a trip with us.
Did you enjoy it?
I think I did. I don't remember much of it. I just remember.
It was that short.
Feeling what I feel when I, used to do things by myself.
That doesn't last long. Like,
it wasn't.
2 minutes.
No, my first time didn't last long enough.
Yeah. And that's why you don't have sex too young because these kids be coming in 2 seconds and then they have pop out a baby.
Sure, but
that's not true. What are you saying?
First of all,
so you're gonna say no? Me, it actually lasts like an hour.
An hour.
Regis, there's nobody.
You don't have to prove yourself to nobody.
There's nobody on the first time that's going longer than 3 minutes.
Yeah, at 15, I lasted around an hour because I was thinking about what she's gonna think about me, banging her. I think that was my mindset. I was like, oh, that's my first time. I have to, to make the first impression.
Like, I really hope that he could really do it. And low-key, I would pay to see him. I'm that type of crazy chick. Like, I would pay to see Regis action because he talks so much game that it's like, if you don't put the work, I'm gonna beat your ass because I'm tired of you. Like, I would pay like $250 legit to any girl that will have sex with Regis.
I didn't come my first time.
I didn't come my first time either.
Oh, but
when I did,
Really?
no, it was like the same girl.
It was like
we did,
Because what happened, I think
week,
it started in the mind,
Wesley
actually.
Regis is
I think, when you have sex, I think it started in your mind. So when you come prematurely, that's on you. Because for me, when I have sex, I think more about...
At 14, you was thinking it's high level about sex.
That's what I'm saying. Because I was more...
You deserve because there's a book that's waiting to be written by you.
Please, let's finish.
And I need you to enlighten the community.
Let me tell you something.
I'm listening.
Yeah, he has a point. Like he's saying something, you guys are like
Even,
like.
let me explain. Because when you have sex, the number thing that you have to think in mind is to please the woman.
And this is not a shot at Regis. I think Regis is a very interesting individual. He just comes off as someone that is eager to learn, but doesn't really know how to project that. So I think he's trying to like fit in with the rest of the squad that he may feel has a little more experience than him.
Because when you please the woman...
I'm out. Can I get disconnected?
Okay, go.
At 14, you was not thinking about how... No, first of all, that's something that you
Because you know
learned.
what?
At 14, you was
You were
not
beating
being...
off the DBZ at 14, bro.
I'm not.
Like,
You know
what
what
are
I'm
you
thinking?
talking about?
What is
You
he
know
You
what
were
I'm
beating
thinking?
off the
Not worried
Goku
about
and
peace.
Vegeta
Oh my gosh.
cartoons when you were 14.
What are you talking about?
Like literally,
Because I
like
think it's not in your
Kamehameha.
mind.
Like, what are you talking about? You
Let
were
me
watching
ex- let
DuckTales
me
at
explain
14.
You guys are
myself.
not letting him
Let me
explain. Let him explain
myself.
himself. That's
Explain,
fine. You guys
explain.
can talk, but then if someone is talking, you guys
I think
don't do
when you have sex, I think we can come to an agreement that it's all mental,
Don't
right?
say we gonna come to
Bro,
an agreement.
sometimes I don't come to an
So
agreement when
when-
I'm fucking.
Okay, that's on
Sometimes
you.
I just do it.
That's
There's
on
no
you.
agreement.
That's on
We
you.
just- it's
So
just-
I felt like when I was 14, I was thinking about more, why is she gonna think about me having sex? So I wasn't really enjoying
At
it.
14?
Yes. I wasn't really enjoying it. I was more about hitting,
So
and
you
I was
don't
like,
care.
Go ahead, man.
Mine is she was
and I was
21.
like, yeah, she was
So she
21.
was advanced. You don't need to impress her. She probably
So
knows
wait,
that you're
It was
a baby
it's
at that.
me. It's
So
more
when you want to
mental.
talk, you want to talk?
We did all kind of positions. That's not the topic.
At
though.
14.
Yeah.
And you watching porn at 10.
Yeah. So why is about that?
You have an issue
Because
with
and you grew up where, in Cuba?
I mean, that's
In Russia?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Russia, they
understand
were letting you watch
But the problem in
dynamic.
Cuba, though, the problem in
Tell me
Cuba is that
Vladimir
people
Putin
start really.
was letting you watch porn on your dial-up
hold on.
connection when you were 10 years old
Okay.
in Russia.
I was young. I think my mindset was about. I think Shabazz said, "Oh no, I was immature and I wasn't even thinking." I think it's not really about that. I think it's all about my mindset is I'm trying to please the woman, and I felt like when you sort of detach yourself or your emotion to when you have sex and you sort of try to please your significant other, that's a blessing.
Talk about
You
her.
lost your virginity at 15. Were you thinking about what Regis is talking about?
I was worried about getting her pregnant, even with a
That's-
condom on,
because
but let me tell you why.
Because he said something really good.
Regis,
now he wasn't thinking about what he was doing.
Regis,
but just because.
I'm telling you exactly how I
At
felt
14
when I was
is
15 years old. My concern
So now
was
I was thinking.
I don't really know how to wear condoms.
That's crazy.
That was like the second time in my entire life. That wasn't the first time I tried to have sex. It was the first time that I actually had sex. So trying to wear the condom, not flipping it the right, like I put it on the wrong way. And she was like, no, you got to
Did
put it on.
somebody teach you before then how to put on a condom?
Well, in class. That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like I fucking had a banana.
I don't understand what the difference between 15 and 14-year-old is.
There really
Like,
isn't.
there's no difference.
That's why they're
So-
asking the
That's why I'm
comparison.
asking
That's what I'm
what
saying.
his
That's what-
experience was.
First time I tried, I was 14, but nothing happened. So I lost my virginity when I was 15. And I still didn't know how to wear
That's
it.
still
I didn't know how to
way
wear it.
different.
But Regis is trying to say that he had sex
He's
for an
Kama
hour
Sutra
and he was
guru
doing
over
all of
here.
these
Yeah,
things.
Regis, I don't think it was fun.
When I tell you,
but
I
yes,
lasted,
this-
I'm being generous, I lasted 3 minutes.
So I lost my virginity in the bathroom when I was 17. It was like in a handicap stall. I did it
in the room?
Handicap store.
At my
Nah,
boarding
you
school,
real,
we-
you
at my-
real, you
at my
real.
boarding
it's
school,
real on this- oh, it's
at my
real
boarding
now,
school, we
right?
could
No,
have chicks over. We could have chicks over. So like everybody was having sex everywhere but a bed.
You went to boarding
I actually didn't
I've
have
had
sex
sex
in a
in
bed
handicap
until
stall.
like a year and a half after I lost virginity. Like I was just,
Damn,
I like
not
now.
bad,
I still, well, I don't
Just
want
in
to go
the
there,
bathroom
but.
all the time?
People was having sex on the grass. People was having sex in auditoriums.
That's
People having
wild.
sex.
Grass sex, that's
It
wild,
was
bro.
like, yeah, because you couldn't get it in the thing, so I became so accustomed. Like, I'll be on some like I'm ready to go whatever, like wherever, whatever. Because that's that experience, it was interesting. I'm always gonna remember that when I go to the bathroom, like, this is where it started. Like, this is how I got onto this journey. And, you know, I come a long way from the bathroom to the bed. It was a journey, you know. It took a little bit. I was so used to not having sex in the bed that I was more ready to go outside the bedroom than I would prefer doing outside the bedroom. So that happened for a while.
What a place, in the bathroom. I mean, that's quite something. My heart goes out to the girl. I hope it wasn't her first time. That's quite the thing, you know. First of all, it's like with Shabazz. Second of all, it's like in the bathroom. So that's a double whammy.
Like, that's disrespectful. Like, if a dude tell me, yo, let's go in the bathroom and smash, first of all, it's uncomfortable. It's unsanitary. It's like, you can't even bring her to, like, a room. She can't even get, like, a bed. You can't even have sheets for her. It's like, I'm sure they're not together anymore, but, like, damn, a bathroom, yo. And on top of this handicapped bathroom, do you know there's not even a lot of handicapped bathrooms? So you're taking that opportunity for a handicapped person to do the business for you to fuck. That's like, it's like you couldn't even go to a regular, you had to do the handicapped ones. Like, they're already handicapped. Like, why are you doing, like, I can't.
It's really what it is. That's kind of, it just, like, it conditioned me to think, like, it can happen anywhere.
In Africa.
Where? In the house?
Oh, in the house, definitely. In the house.
It was
It wasn't in the bath. It was in the bathroom for sure.
A bathroom too?
No, it wasn't in the bathroom.
Oh, in the bedroom.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, at the time I could.
I couldn't bring
Like, I had my
chicks home
own room. No, I would sneak them. I would not. Come on, I can't.
I wasn't even able to sneak.
I would never bring a woman to my mom's house now. Yeah. Like, at this age, I still would never
Jarrell, where
bring
you lost your virginity?
Where?
Where?
At home, at his mom's house.
Okay, yeah.
I lost my virginity at home in my bed.
Okay, girl. Leading the man in your house.
I'm just saying. But
Leading the man in the house.
okay, wait a minute. But my boyfriend and I, we was together like for like a year. Right. So my thing is that when I lost my virginity, I was with my boyfriend already from 10th grade. We were together for a year. And I was 17, he was 19, he failed, whatever. Wow. But wait, we were in a relationship. I really liked him. We were together. I lost my...
He failed?
Listen, don't judge my ex, okay? He's somebody now, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, I lost my virginity to a boyfriend that I had from when I was 15 all the way until I was 19. And we were in a relationship. I was 7. I had just turned 7. It was like 2 days after I turned 17. But I was 17 and I was already working. I was a little independent. Mentally, I felt like I was old enough. I said, okay, I'm ready. I was scared though, but like you be with somebody, don't have sex because you feel like you have to have sex.
Did you guys stay together afterwards?
We had I lost my business when we were 17. We broke up when I was 19. So we lasted. Our whole relationship was 3 years, but 2 years after we had sex. Like,
okay, before sex, did you check his status? Did you know? Did he go through, like? Did you check if he's okay?
If he's okay?
Yeah, before you guys had sex, like, did you have
if you check his,
I'm sure she protected herself.
She was
okay. You were the one saying, oh, you have to do this, not have sex.
No, at 14, you're not thinking about STDs and stuff like that. But when I was 17, no, I did think about it when I was 17. That's why I made him use a condom, like, and he put a condom on by himself.
Saying condom doesn't do anything, right?
Jesus, love.
No.
We're talking about STDs.
She's a nurse. She said that.
I do nothing.
But no, you said you missed nurse.
I was talking about STDs. So yes, I'm gonna use a condom to protect myself from an STD, and I didn't want to get pregnant. Anyway, my advice to this person is don't have sex because you feel like you have to have sex. You may be having those urges. It's normal. When you're going through puberty, you're feeling different things. It's normal to want to experiment or think that you have to have sex. Don't have sex because you feel like you have to or because you want to experiment with it. Mm-hmm. Grow, be a kid, go to school, have fun, do your activities. When you get older and you have a little boyfriend or girlfriend and you feel like you love this person or you really like this person and you trust this person, you being safe, then you have sex.
Agreed.
Period.
Honestly, I don't have a type. They're not really my type. I like them light skinned, so I felt like I mean, the Francia, she's good looking, but yeah.
Because like you have all these expectations of a woman's vagina, yet like what are you packed with? Like if you have nothing to offer, you should not be expecting any woman's vagina to be gold. Because your thing is not diamond. I'm telling you, a penis is a sponge. It's all that is. It's like a squishy sponge. Like it's It's not rare. You could find that at Target. Like,
my mindset is I'm trying to please the woman, and I feel like when you sort of detach yourself or your emotion to when you have sex and you sort of try to please your significant other, that's a blessing.
I don't know. Like, we just come to people that you only meet once in your lifetime. Like, they don't come around as often. So guys like him are like, wow, like, this is the kind of guy, like, if I was one of the girls that had ever been with him, this is the kind of guy, like, you have to write a book about.
So I feel like, parents, they need to, like, instead of trying to instill fear about sexuality into their kids, they need to, just be open, have an open dialogue, and just teach them and, let them know it's okay to have these feelings, but, you don't have to act on them. And if you do decide to act on them, this is what's going to happen. These are the repercussions. This is what might happen. You might get pregnant. You might get this. You might get that. Just let them know.
Thanks for watching. And if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.